Welcome to the deep dive. Today we are tackling an issue that is, well, it's incredibly common but so often dismissed. Body acne. Bacne.
Hmm.
We're talking about those persistent, sometimes really painful bumps on your back, shoulders, chest, all of it. And for you, our learner, who sent in this whole stack of material, the mission here isn't just about how it looks. It's about uh, getting to the science underneath it all. That's really the key to clearer skin. We've gone through articles that detail everything from the symptoms to honestly, the surprisingly complex causes and the full spectrum of treatments. So our job is to break down how it forms, what the different types are, and then give you some real actionable strategies for treatment and prevention.
And I think what's fascinating is we have to shift the perspective right away. This isn't just surface dirt. We have to define body acne as an actual inflammatory skin condition. It's caused by clogged hair follicles.
It was a deep biological process.
Exactly. Recognizing that inflammation is the key. That's the critical first step before you even think about picking up a cleanser.
Okay, let's get into that formation process then. Let's start with what you actually see on your skin. Because body acne can show up in a lot of different ways.
Mhm.
You've got the general red, inflamed bumps, of course. But what are the specific things we should be looking out for?
Well, the symptoms are really descriptive of what's happening inside the pore. So you often see whiteheads, which we call closed comedones.
Closed because the pore is covered.
Exactly. The opening is covered by skin, so everything is trapped inside.
Right.
And then on the other hand, you have blackheads or open comedones.
And those aren't dirt, right? That's a huge myth.
Not at all. It's not dirt. It's the sebum and the dead cells inside the follicle reacting with oxygen in the air. They oxidize, and that's what turns them that dark color.
Wow, so the color itself is just a chemical reaction, and that visible difference, I'm guessing it tells you something about how severe the acne is.
Absolutely. Well, those, surface level whiteheads are annoying. The real problem starts when you see signs of moderate to severe acne. You need to watch for pus-filled lesions. We call those pustules. And the big one, what's really important, are the painful, deeper inflammations. The nodules and cysts.
What makes cysts and nodules so much worse?
They go deeper. They're large, hard pockets of inflammation way down in the dermis, so they take much longer to heal. And because of that deep tissue damage,
That's where the scarring comes from.
that's exactly where the scarring comes from. They are significantly more prone to leaving permanent scars. That's why getting on top of cysts early is just so vital.
That makes total sense. Deeper damage, higher risk. So, okay, let's walk through the biology. How does a normal, healthy pore turn into one of those painful pimples?
It all starts with the sebaceous glands. These glands produce sebum, which is basically an oil. And it's actually really important, keeps our skin moisturized and protected.
Under normal circumstances, that oil just flows right out.
It does. But in people prone to acne, something goes wrong inside the hair follicle, that little canal the oil flows through.
And what's it mixing with to create the initial clog?
It's the dead skin cells, or keratinocytes. They don't shed normally, they get sticky. So the sebum mixes with these sticky dead cells and hair inside the follicle.
Oh, so it's basically creating a plug.
It's a hard, waxy plug. It's like a drain clog.
Okay.
And that trapped material is where the bacteria come in. It creates this perfect oxygen-free environment for a bacteria that's naturally on our skin, Propionibacterium acnes.
And when they multiply.
Your body sees it as an invasion and launches this huge inflammatory response. And that whole reaction, the swelling, the redness, the pain, that's what we see as a pimple.
So it's a drainage failure plus a bacteria party. Let's look at the things that throw fuel on that fire because our sources are really clear. Acne is almost never caused by just one thing. It's a perfect storm.
Starting with the internal drivers, hormones are massive. Androgens, they spike during puberty and sometimes again in midlife, especially for women. They cause the oil glands to get bigger and just pump out more sebum.
And you see this with the menstrual cycle too, right?
Oh, absolutely. Many women have very predictable flare-ups linked directly to their cycle.
And then there's genetics. You can't ignore that. If your parents had it bad, you might be in for a fight.
That's right. A strong family history really increases your risk. Genetics can influence everything from your baseline oil production to how aggressively your body's inflammation response kicks in.
And what about things like medications?
Yeah, we have to mention that. Certain drugs, like those with lithium or steroids, can really disrupt your hormonal balance and trigger some serious breakouts.
This is where it gets really interesting to me, the external factors. Let's talk about friction. The sources call it acne mechanica.
Acne mechanica is exactly what it sounds like. Acne from physical causes. We're talking about sweat, trapped under tight clothes.
Like gym gear.
Athletic gear, helmets, straps, anything that rubs on the skin over and over. That friction irritates the skin, and it literally pushes bacteria and dead cells deeper into the pores.
I think we've all been guilty of sitting in sweaty gym clothes for too long. It's almost a relief to know there's a scientific name for that bad habit.
Mm-hmm.
But what about diet? For years, the diet link was called a myth. Why are the sources bringing it up again?
That's a great question. It points to some new science. Now, changing your diet alone probably won't cure you, but emerging research does suggest that certain foods can influence how bad your breakouts are.
What kind of foods?
Specifically, high glycemic foods, so sugary drinks, sweets, and for some people, dairy products.
So it's not the grease in the pizza, it's the refined carbs in the crust.
Precisely. The theory is these foods spike your blood sugar, which increases insulin, and high insulin can trigger other hormones that ramp up oil production and inflammation. So, yeah, we need more research, but it's worth paying attention to.
Okay, and then there's stress. We all say stress is making me break out, but that feels a bit too simple.
It is too simple. Stress doesn't cause acne on its own, but it absolutely makes it worse. It releases cortisol, which increases oil. But here's the really surprising part we found in the sources.
Okay.
Studies show that stress actually impairs the body's wound recovery process.
Wait, what? So it's not just making more oil, it's slowing down the healing.
Exactly. Your healing response is compromised. So those pimples you already have, they stick around longer, they look worse, and they have a higher chance of scarring just because they can't resolve properly. It's a double whammy.
Wow. Okay, that's huge.
Mm-hmm. Let's move on to solutions then, because treatment needs to be consistent, and it needs to be tailored to how severe things are. For mild body acne, we can start with over-the-counter options.
And the two big ones there are salicylic acid and benzoyl peroxide. What do they each do?
Okay, so salicylic acid is a great exfoliant. It's oil-soluble, so it can get deep inside the pore and dissolve those plugs of dead skin cells. Benzoyl peroxide is different. It's a powerful antibacterial.
So it kills the P. acnes?
Kills it fast, and it reduces inflammation. But there was a key warning. For the body, keeping the concentration under 5% seems to be that sweet spot. It works well without causing too much irritation.
And if the over-the-counter stuff doesn't work?
Then you step up to topical prescriptions. This includes retinoids like tretinoin or adapalene. Retinoids work by basically normalizing how your skin cells turn over, which stops those clogs from forming in the first place.
And adapalene is available OTC now in lower strengths.
It is, and it's known for being the most tolerable. Other topicals are dapsone, which is great for inflammatory acne in women, and azelaic acid, which is really useful because it's safe during pregnancy and breastfeeding.
We have to highlight a major caution here, though. You should never use prescription tretinoin and benzoyl peroxide at the same time. They can cancel each other out.
Right. And you have to remember, all retinoids make your skin more sensitive to the sun.
Okay, so for more severe cases, a doctor might prescribe something you take orally.
Yes. Oral antibiotics, like tetracyclines or macrolides, they reduce bacteria and inflammation system-wide. But, and this is critical, they must be used with a topical like benzoyl peroxide.
Why is that?
To reduce the risk of creating antibiotic-resistant bacteria. It's a huge public health concern.
And for the most severe scarring acne, there's isotretinoin.
Yes, a powerful vitamin A derivative. It can be a permanent cure, but it comes with serious potential side effects, so it's managed under very strict FDA programs.
And then you have the in-office treatments.
Right, things like chemical peels, light therapy, blue light for bacteria, red light for inflammation, or even steroid injections directly into those big painful cysts to bring down swelling fast.
That covers the high-tech stuff. But what about the daily routine? Let's give you some practical steps to apply right away, because the best prescription in the world won't work without good habits. First up, hygiene. Shower and change your clothes immediately after you exercise. You have to stop that sweat and friction combo right in its tracks.
And when you wash, use a gentle cleanser twice a day. Avoid harsh bar soaps or deodorant bars. And please, skip the loofahs and coarse scrubs. They just damage your skin barrier and make inflammation worse. Use your hands or a soft cloth.
Okay, let's talk about some of the specialized ingredients our sources highlighted. First, for sensitive skin, they mentioned cleansers with hypochlorous acid.
Yeah, HOCl is really interesting. It actually mimics a substance your own immune system produces. So it's a very gentle, non-irritating way to handle surface bacteria and redness.
Then for oily skin, you've got things like tea tree oil products.
Right, using botanicals to target oil and blemishes. And finally, you saw things like physical scrubs, using finely ground shells.
Yeah, but the warning there was pretty strong.
It has to be. You have to be
Yeah.
so careful. The particle has to be perfectly smooth and microfine, otherwise you're just creating tiny tears in your skin, which leads to more inflammation. Chemical exfoliants are often safer for acne-prone skin.
Okay, let's finish the routine. After cleansing, you have to moisturize with something non-comedogenic, meaning it won't clog pores. And then,
Sunscreen. Every single day.
non-negotiable.
It's completely non-negotiable. It has to be broad-spectrum, oil-free, SPF 30 or higher. The sun makes inflammation worse, and it causes those dark spots to linger.
And finally, the hardest part. Hands off. Never pick, pop, or scrub pimples. You are just asking for infection and permanent scarring.
Mm-hmm. And be mindful of your hair products. Heavy oils or fragrances running down your back can absolutely clog your pores.
So with all of these tools, when do you finally need to call a professional?
Our guidance here is pretty straightforward. If you've been consistent with over-the-counter treatments and you see no relief, it's time. If you have a sudden severe breakout, or if your acne involves those painful nodules or cysts, you need to see a doctor.
Because early intervention is what prevents the scarring.
It's everything.
Yeah.
And also, if it's causing you real emotional distress, that is a perfectly valid reason to seek professional help.
Okay, so to sum up this deep dive, body acne is a complex inflammatory issue. It's driven by internal things like hormones and genetics and external things like friction. And treatment requires consistency, a combination of the right topicals, and really rigorous habits like post-workout showers and daily sunscreen.
You know, we spent a lot of time on how sweat and friction acne mechanica make things worse. So if you're struggling with breakouts that just won't quit, it raises a final question for you to think about. Beyond your skincare products, how closely have you looked at your daily environment? I'm talking about your tightest workout clothes, your laundry detergent, the ingredients in your fabric softener. Have you looked for the hidden sources of irritation that could be fueling the cycle? Sometimes the answer isn't in the medicine cabinet. It's in the laundry room.
That is a powerful thought. Start looking in the less obvious places. Thank you for diving deep with us today. We'll catch you next time.